Okay, so let's get started. As you know, we're going to talk about Delta Module 1. And okay, all right. Nice to hear from you. So why I'm going to talk about Delta Module 1 today, because a lot of people are asking me about Delta Module 1 and they need to get some information about Delta Module 1. And I remember 2 years ago when I did Delta, my Delta Module 1, no one told me anything about Delta Module 1. So it was just like a very big problem for me at that time. But now you're luckier than me, okay? So we have some items, some points to talk about. Yeah, you're luckier than me. All right, very good, mashallah. You have master in TESOL, okay? Fine, Sri Lanka. Okay, so we have people who are not Arab today. All right. No, it's okay. It does exist. Okay, TEFL, TESOL, yeah, they exist. Okay, but I talked about this before. Anyway, we have some points today to talk about. We will talk about Delta Module 1 and the main aim of this module, as you see. And we will go over the description of the exam. We'll talk about the format, the timing, the number of tasks, the type of tasks, and the answer format, and the marking and the grading. After that, I would take you step by step to see an example of each task from paper 1, task 1 to 5, and paper 2, task 1 to 3. Okay, so we have 2 papers in the exam, and we have in paper 1 we have 5 tasks, and in paper 2 we have 3 tasks. Okay, all right, then we will give you a piece of advice on how to pass the exam from the first time, the first try, and you will get to know the tutors, myself and Ilham. She's with us now, and she's gonna talk to you when we come to this slide. Also, we're going to show you the benefits of taking the course with us, and we have some references, of course. All right, so when we talk about Delta, can anyone tell me in the chat box the difference between CELTA and Delta? Which one is higher? Which one is more professional? Can anyone tell me in the chat box, please? Yeah, very good. So Delta, as you say, Delta is a diploma, okay, level 7, all right. How about CELTA? Which level of the qualifications, Cambridge qualifications? Yeah, level 5. So Delta is higher than CELTA. CELTA is a certificate. Delta is a diploma, okay. CELTA is level 5. Delta is level 7, okay. So it's highly recommended, but it's not a must, okay. It's highly recommended for the people who are going to do Delta to take CELTA before, okay. I myself, I didn't do CELTA before Delta. I went directly for Delta Module 1 and I suffered a lot. So it's better to take CELTA before Delta so that you can be more and well prepared. All right, thank you for answering the first question. Delta Module 1 title is, as you see, Understanding Language, Methodology, and Resources for Teaching. That's the title of Module 1. Let's move on to the second slide, which is the aim of Module 1. Actually, we have some aims. Let's have a look at them. You need to develop the knowledge or the understanding of the following points. The first one is the language acquisition and language teaching. That's a theoretical part that you need to know about the ELT field when you do Delta. Another thing is the approaches and methodologies. All right, you need to develop your knowledge and your understanding of the approaches and the methodologies. Number 3, the language systems and the learner's problems. How can you analyze them and how can you address these issues? Number 4 is the language skills, and also you need to develop your understanding of the learner's problems. The one before the last is the resources, materials, and references, and that's closely related to lesson planning and resources. The last aim of Delta Module 1 is to develop your understanding and your knowledge of the ELT terminology. I remember when I was doing Delta Module 1, I memorized more than 400 terminology. So if you're going to do this module, you need to memorize about 400 terminology in almost all aspects of the language. Methodology, assessment, language systems, language skills, everything. So when we move to the general description of the exam format, Delta Module 1 comes in 2 papers. Each paper consists of how many tasks? Can someone tell me in the chat box? So the exam is in 2 papers, paper 1 and paper 2. How many tasks are there in paper 1 and how many tasks are there in paper 2? Yes, 2 plus 3, no. 5 and 3, yes. In paper 1, you have 5 tasks, task 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In paper 2, you have 3 tasks, task 1, 2, and 3. So when we talk about the timing, paper 1 takes an hour and a half, 90 minutes, and paper 2 the same, 90 minutes. Between them, you have a 30-minute break. Okay, you can drink something, you can eat something, you can like have a nice time before you go for paper 2. So we have 2 papers, 5 tasks in paper 1, 90 minutes, then half an hour break, then you go for paper 2, 3 tasks, 90 minutes. All right. The number of tasks, okay, we already talked about this, 5 plus 3, all in all 8 tasks, and they are all compulsory. You need to do all of them, okay? Otherwise, you will lose marks. The task types in paper 1 and paper 2, mostly all the tasks, they ask you to provide a longer written or a long written response. Except for task 1, you just need to provide a short written response. Okay, we will go over the tasks in a while. The answer format, and this is quite important, you will be given a booklet, okay? You need to write your answers in the booklet, and you need to use a pen. You can't use a pencil, okay? You need to write in ink. That's really important to know. And about the word count, there is no specific word count for Delta Module 1 exam. So you can write 3,000 words in one paper, you can write 1,000 paper. It doesn't much matter, you just need to answer the questions. All right? You can write your answers in different forms. You can write in prose, lists, notes, grids, or tables. It doesn't much matter, okay? You organize your answers the way you like. So that's about the format. You write with a pen, not a pencil. Write in ink. You will be given the question paper and a booklet, an answer booklet. You use it. You organize your answer in any written form. Okay, you don't have to write in prose. You don't have to write in bullet points. You just do whatever you want. You can draw tables. You can do whatever you want. For the marking and grading, in paper 1, we have 5 tasks and we have 100 marks. Paper 2, we have 100 marks as well, but we don't have 5 tasks. We have only 3 tasks. So you can have a look at the marks awarded for each task. Task 1, 6 marks. Task 2, 12. Task 3, 12. Task 4, 20. And task 5, you can imagine 50 marks. So task 5 in paper 1 is the most important task because it carries half of the marks. All right. When we move to paper 2, we have task 1, 18 marks, task 2, 42 marks, and task 3, 40 marks. 90 minutes and 90 minutes, and you will be given half an hour to recess. Okay, that's about the marking. For the grading or the results, people are usually awarded pass with distinction, pass with merit, pass or fail. So how to get pass with distinction, how to get pass with merit, how to get pass, okay? Can anyone tell me? Do you have any idea on how to get pass with distinction? So the total marks are 200. If I want to get pass with distinction, how many marks should I get? Pass with merit, how many marks? Pass, how many? Let's talk about the pass now. What do you think? You can make guesses. You can make guesses. How many marks you need to acquire to get a pass in Delta Module 1? 120. 100. Okay. Yes, you're right. So if you want to get a pass in Delta Module 1, you need to get 100 marks out of 200. Okay. So only 50%. You can pass Delta Module 1 with a 50%. Only 100 marks out of 200. If you want to get merit, then you need to get 130 marks. If you want to get a distinction, then you need to get 150 marks, which is 75% of the marks. Well, if you get 120, then you are still in the pass area, okay? Yeah, you might think it's unfair, but no, it's not, because it's approximately means if you get 125, they might give you merit, okay? So don't worry about this. Even if you pass, this is a very big achievement, okay? You should be happy, you should be proud of yourself. It's all right if you just pass Delta Module 1, all right? So we're now talking about the description of the exam. We talked about, we gave an introduction about Delta Module 1, then we talked about the aims, and then now we finished talking about the general description of the test. And now let's move on. Yes, it's Cambridge, yeah. And now let's move on to the structure and the tasks, okay? Paper 1, task 1. Let's go over the tasks one by one very quickly, okay? Not in detail. And I will show you some sample questions and sample answers, okay? I will show you my answers when I was doing Delta Module 1. But before I show you the sample question and the sample answer, I want you to have a look at this. This is very important to know before I show you the sample. In paper 1, task 1, the task is labeling task. You are giving 6 definitions, and you need to read the definitions and give the correct terminology for each one. All right? So how many terminology you should memorize? More than 400 terminology if you want to answer paper 1, task 1 and task 2 correctly. So you need to know terminology about systems, the language systems, skills, methodology, approach, the assessment, phonology, everything, okay? How many marks are awarded for this? Only 6 marks. Only 6 marks. And one might say, oh my God, I'm gonna memorize 400 terminology just for this task, 6 marks, and task 2, 12 marks. All in all, 18 marks. No, I don't need them. No, you need them. You need them not because of paper 1, task 1 and 2. You need them because of the whole exam. Because while doing the other tasks, you need to use the correct terminology as you go, okay? So it's really important. You will be given 6 definitions and you need to write the terminology, and 1 mark is awarded for each correct terminology. Let's have a look at the, all of them are in the field of ELT, English language teaching, don't worry. Of course. If you're going to join the course with us, the course will start on September 6th. then we are going to give you a pre-course task, 2 books to read before we start our course. All right. So let's have a look at the example. That's an example from December 2016. And this was my mock exam. I did it before my exam, 2 days before my exam. And here is an example of task 1. Look at it. I'll show you my answer right now. Okay, but first have a look at the example question. 6 definitions, A, B, C, D, E, F. You can understand and express your own way, but be careful because Cambridge or the Cambridge assessors are looking for specific words, keywords. So if you don't provide these keywords, you will lose the mark. Okay? You can't just understand and write in your own words. Okay? So 6 definitions, and you need to read them well with examples, and you need to provide 6 terminology. Look at my answer. This was my answer 2 years ago when I was doing Delta Module 1. And someone was marking my, my paper. Okay, the same person will be marking your paper if you join the course with us. So this one was wrong. Correct, 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 wrong. Okay, so I got 4 out of 6 in this question. That's good. If you get 3 out of 6, that's good. Because sometimes you memorize more than 400 terminology and then they come up with some other terminology which you've never seen. Look at the second task. Oh, Mr. Said is here. Hi, bro. So look at the second task. The second task is also about terminology. But in this case, you are provided with 4 terminology, okay? And you need to write the definitions of them. Not only this, but you also need to provide examples. All right, 12 marks, 2 marks for the definition, and 1 mark for the example. And here you must be careful. If you provide a correct example, but the definition is incorrect, then you will not get the mark for the example and you will get 0 for this one. So in order to get the mark for the example, you need to get the 2 marks for the definition first. How many examples for each terminology? 1. Okay, have a look at the example here. That's the question, example question or sample question. They provide you, as I told you, with 6 terms, as you see, and you need to provide definitions and examples. 2 marks for the definitions and 1 mark for the example. All right? Fossilization, assimilation, a turn, homographs. So you will find a terminology from lexis, vocabulary, 1 from spoken discourse, and 1 from phonology, and so on. Okay? Look at my answer. So I answered 1, 2, 3, and of course the 4th one, A, B, C, D. Okay. And by the way, in the exam, you don't need to write the question again because this will waste your time. Okay. I was in the very beginning and that wasted my time. So the assessor advised me not to provide a definition and an example or illustration for each of the term below. No, you don't have to write this. You will waste your time and you will exert much effort in doing something which is the assessor now. You just need to write paper 1, task 2. That's it, okay? So 1, fossilization, I gave the definition and then I gave an example, and they say if you think you can write something more about the definition, you can add a 3rd point, which is further information. All right? So the definition, this is a must, 2 marks. The example, 1 mark. And if you think you have something relevant, something more to write about the definition, you can just add this further information and you add what you want to add. All right? So I got, in this question, I got 10 out of 12. Okay. Paper 1, task 3. This is a very, it's a very good task, but you really need to understand discourse analysis very well. You need to understand written discourse analysis and spoken discourse analysis, because they give you text, okay, and then they ask you to provide, they give you some features of the text, and then they ask you to provide 3 more features, okay, and you need to provide an example on each feature. Each feature will be awarded 2 marks and the example will be awarded 2 marks. You can't get the 2 marks for the example unless you get the 2 marks of the feature. So to answer this question, you need to understand, as I said, the written discourse features and the spoken discourse features. All right. In the course, we will help you with all of these things. Ilham will be giving you a session on Tuesday, okay, a content session, and I'll be giving you a session on Thursday, a practical session application on the tasks. And then you will be given a task and it will be marked, and then feedback, individualized and personalized feedback will be given to each one of you. So here it's not the place, it's not the time to talk about the written discourse features or the spoken discourse features. We will talk about this in the course for 12 weeks, 3 months, all right? So let's have a look at the example and then have a look at my sample answer. That's an example. And let me ask you, is it a written activity or a spoken activity? What do you think? Have a look quickly and tell me. Yeah, of course. We have to be aware of the learner's level. Yeah, of course. Thank you, Ilham. So, yeah. Writing activity or speaking activity? What do you think? Have a look quickly and tell me, please. Quickly. Yeah, okay. So as you see here, it's a writing activity. You might be given a speaking activity, okay? And then they will give you 2 features, as you see, Lexis, one on Lexis and one about language for giving reasons, language for advantages and disadvantages, okay? And then they will ask you to give 3 more key language features. So let's have a look at my answer. You need to do like this. Don't try the question again. You see the marker, okay? Don't try the question again. You need to save a lot of time and effort. So you just need to write paper 1, task 3. Even this, you don't have to write it. A writing activity, don't. Okay, learners advanced CEFR C1, don't. Okay, keep it in your mind and in the question paper. Just go directly to feature 1, feature 2, feature 3. All right. So one of the features I mentioned was the use of grammar of comparative and superlative. And I gave an example from the text from here. Okay. Another feature was about the linkers and discourse markers. The third one was about style and language. Let's move on to paper 1, task 4. Paper 1, task 4, does anyone here teach IELTS or IGCSE or SAT? Does anyone here check or mark students writing or students speaking? Yeah, we have to give examples related to the context. Yeah, of course. Okay, Mr. Hamdi, Ms. Fatma, they teach. Thank you so much, Mr. Islam. Thank you so much. So I see some people here teach IELTS. So if you teach IELTS, paper 1, task 4 is gonna be so easy for you, okay? Because they give you a spoken transcribed text or a written text. They might give you a spoken transcribed, okay, or a written text, and you need to focus and analyze the learner's problems. You need to provide some strengths and weaknesses. All right. How many? All in all, 4. So you can provide 3 strengths and 1 weakness, 3 weaknesses and 1 strength. Okay. How many marks are awarded for this? 3 marks are awarded for each strength or weakness, and 2 marks are awarded for the example you provide from the learner's text. Let's have a look at the example, and you can tell me whether it's a spoken, transcribed, or a written text. Tell me, please. It comes in 2 papers. Okay, this one, that's the question, what they need you to do. They need you to identify 4 strengths or weaknesses, and they give you some choices. Task achievement, you must understand what it means. Coherence, accuracy of grammar, range of lexes. We don't have range of grammar here, be careful. We don't have accuracy of lexes. We just have range of lexes. So if you provide a point with accuracy of lexes, you will lose the marks, okay? So you need to adhere to the following points. And the pronunciation, particularly the connective speech features, okay? The suprasegmental features. Look at the text. Tell me, please, whether it's a written text or a spoken transcribed text. Very good. Thank you, Ms. Nihal. Yeah. So, yeah. The level of the learner, you need to pay attention to the level of the learner as well. Pre-intermediate, A2. And here is the text, spoken, transcribed text. Why transcribed? Why? Why transcribed? Can anyone tell me? Yeah, to show the correct pronunciation, okay? So they are transcribing the text. Just if you would like to talk about pronunciation, the connect speech features, you can find them here, okay? Whether they are like a strength point or a weakness point. Ms. Ilham is asking whether I can use 1 point, the same point, as a strength point or and a weakness point. Yes, the answer is yes. I can get 1 strength point in accuracy of grammar, and I can get 1 weakness point of the same point, which is accuracy of grammar. No problem at all, as long as it does exist in the text. All right. So that's the text, spoken, transcribed, and here are the aspects you need to analyze for the learner's errors, learner's strength points, and then you need to do like this. Look at this. As I told you, don't write the question. Don't waste your time. Just write paper 1, task 4. And then you can write this: strength, coherence, pronunciation. Only 2. I got only 2. If the learner's level is high, then you can get more strength points. If the learner's level is low, then you can get more weakness points, okay? You just need to be aware of all of these things. Look at this. I wrote the strength point, and then I gave an example from where, not from my mind, from the text. Okay, so let's move on to task 1, 2, 3, 4. How many marks? Remember, do you remember? Elephant memories. Come on. How many marks for paper 1, task 1, 2, 3, and 4? How many? 50. And the other 50 marks are for task 5. So task 5 is the big boss here. You need to understand very well. You need to get as many marks as you can here. They will provide you with an authentic text, and they give you 4 parts: A, B, C, and D. Part A is just like paper 1, task 3. They need you to provide not 3 features, 5 features, okay, in brief. And then in part B, C, and D, they ask you to analyze, identify, explain about the form, meaning, use, and pronunciation, okay? Like in CELTA, if you remember the language analysis, okay? The language analysis task, language related task. You do what? You're giving 4 items, 2 vocabulary and 2 structure, and you analyze them. You analyze the form, the meaning, use, and the pronunciation. So they do the same. They give you 3 items, B, C, and D. One of them is divided into 1 and 2. So B is just 1, analyze the form, comment on the form. B is 1 and 2. 1 is comment on the use, 2 is comment on the phonological features. They give you a sentence, and then you need to get the phonological features of the words in the sentence, like catenation, assimilation, elision. All right. So 1 mark, here's the trick here. 1 mark for each correct point. So how many correct points you need to write in paper 1 task 5 if you would like to get the 50 marks? How many? How many correct points? 50. I want you to imagine this. Okay, so you can write 1 point which can be divided into 2 points. So you will get only 1 mark. You lost 1 mark because you just simply, you didn't know about it. Have a look at the example. Sample question. This is task A, paper 1, task 5A. They give you a text, okay, authentic text, and then they ask you to identify 5 features, 5 features, not 3, 5 features with examples from the text. Then you move on to something else, which is B, C, and D. B, as I told you, they ask you to comment on the form and use of the articles, indefinite and definite articles, a, and the. And they give you some points like this. Each point you need to analyze form and use. Look at at C, we have 1 and 2. 1, comment on the form and use of 2, the preposition or the thing is here, 2. And then you need to comment on the possible features of connected speech in this sentence. You need to read this sentence in a natural way, in a connected way, in order to realize the phonological features and write them below. Then D, you need to comment on the form, not form and use, just the form, okay? Be careful. Not the form and use, only the form. If you write about the use, you will be awarded no marks. And they give you some words from, and they specify the line so that you want to go over and look for them, okay? That's paper 1 task 5. It's a terrible one. You need to prepare very well for it in order to get as many marks as you can. First, look at the authentic text like this. Yeah, of course, you will have the text in the question paper and you will have the answer booklet, okay? You look at the question paper, you look at the text, okay? And then you write in the answer booklet. So that's the authentic text. It comes in 2 papers, this one and this one. And here is my answer. First of all, you need to write 5 features about the text. Feature 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right? And you need to provide an example for each feature. Then, B, comment on the form and use. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't comment on the form, then comment on the use. No, don't waste your time. I did this in the mock test, but in the actual test, I didn't do this. Alhamdulillah. So you must have, and this is what we will do with you in the course. We will give you 2 mock tests before you sit for the actual test. So just write form and use, and then write as many bullet points as you can, like this. So that's the sentence. We offer wonderful homemade food. You need to write something about the article. Do we have any articles here? We don't have. So when we don't have, This is called zero article, uncountable noun food. Then you can write as many things as you can. Okay, so that's for B. And that's for C. Comment on the form and use as well. Don't do this. Don't divide them into subsections, form and use. No, form and use, one section. And then the pronunciation, the connect speech features. I wrote about reduced forms. I wrote about elision. Actually, I didn't write about elision. I wrote lazen or catenation. It was not catenation. It was elision. So I made a mistake here. And I wrote one more point about intrusive. Intrusive, yeah. We have intrusive wahan, yeah. So that's the one. I got, in this one, I got 9 out of 15. It's not a very good mark, but it's very good in the very beginning if you're doing a mock exam. And then we moved on to D. In D, all right, we comment on the form, not on the form and use. Be careful. Don't waste your time doing something unnecessarily. All right. Do we have to write transcription of the features we highlight? Of course, you have to. So that's about paper 1, task 5. Now we finished paper 1, task 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's move on to paper 2, task 1. And let me ask you a question here to make sure that you are on the right track. How many tasks do we have in paper 2, in module 1, paper 2? Please type down in the chat box. Yes, 3 tasks. So let's move on to paper 2, task 1. In paper 2, task 1, you will be given a description or an extract of a testing, okay? You know that we have teaching, assessment, and testing. So you will be given a description of a test and the purpose of this test, and then you need to evaluate the test. You need to evaluate the effectiveness of this test, the testing concepts and the assessment concepts. You need to provide 6 points, positives and negatives, okay? You can provide 2 positives and 4 negatives. You can provide 1 negative and 5 positives. So what are the positives and negatives you might need to think about in the exam? We will do this with you. We will help you with understanding the testing concepts and how to do this task in the course. So provide 6 points, positives and negatives about the test. So you need to show good understanding of the terminology related to assessment, testing concepts. Here in this task, you should be awarded 18 marks. 2 marks for each positive or negative point. 2 marks for each positive or negative point, and 1 mark for something which is called application to the learner. Application to the learner. This means how this is going to affect the learner positively or negatively. So 2 marks for each positive or negative point, and then 1 mark for each application to the learner. All right. So let's have a look at the example here. Sample question from December 2016. This was, as I told you before, this was my mock exam. I did it 2 days before my actual test. Okay, here's the question. You need to provide 6 points. You must include positives and negatives. How many positives? Up to you. How many negatives? Up to you. 2 and 4, 3 and 3, 1 and 5, it doesn't matter. Okay? What matters is that they should be correct. The level is here, and here is a hint about the exam. That's the paper, the exam paper or the test paper. You need to analyze. You need to think about this description and then provide 6 points, positives and negatives. So they tell you that this is a post-beginner level learner and they want to learn general English because they arrived in an English-speaking country. Okay. They describe the situation, the purpose of giving this test. And the teacher designed an interview question form, which is this one. And the candidate needs to fill in. What are the positives? What are the negatives? Yes, of course, you need to read this. You need to read this very carefully. You need to understand the situation of the test. And if you have an attachment like this, you also need to have a look at it. Then you can think about the positives and the negatives. What are the positives of this test and what are the negatives? Even Cambridge tests have some negatives, okay? So don't worry about writing some negative points about any test, because even Cambridge tests like Delta Module 1 or the IELTS writing test or speaking test, they have some negatives indeed, okay? But you just need to think about them. Here is my answer. Positive points, 1, 2, 3. So how many negative points will be there? Negative points, 1, 2, 3. So do we have to write 3 and 3? No. You can write 2 and 4, 1 and 5. Okay, depends on the test. So I wrote here 3 positives or 3 positive points and 3 negative points. So here, as you see, you need to provide an application to the learner. How this is going to affect the learner, whether positively or negatively. If you have a look at the negative points, you can talk about validity, reliability, practicality, okay? A lot of things, a lot of assessment concepts you need to describe here. So I wrote here low content validity, low reliability, okay? Only 5 minutes. So you need to think about the test. They want to teach you how to put a test for your students. Yeah, there is a way, yeah, of course, there is a way to get sample papers, past papers. There are only 10 past papers. That was paper 2 task 1, now paper 2 task 2. In paper 2 task 2, it's the most important task in this paper. They give you material from a course book, and they ask you to analyze the material according to the purposes of the activities. Each exercise, the purpose or the aim of the stage or the exercise or the activity. Then they ask you to comment on these activities and the previous activities. And then they ask you to write some assumptions and provide some reasons behind the assumptions for some exercises. It's the most important and accurate task in Module 1, Paper 2. Okay, so they will provide you, as I said, with like material from a course book, okay? And then they will ask you to write the purposes of some exercises, comment on some exercises and the relationship between these exercises and the previous ones. And then they will ask you to provide some assumptions, assume knowledge, and provide some reasons for the assumptions. So this task comes in 3 parts, part A, part B, and part C. Part A, 12 marks, part B, 12 marks, and part C, 18 marks. 2 marks for each point, for each purpose or comment. And then when it comes to the assumptions, 1 mark for each assumption and 1 mark for each explanation of the assumption, and 1 mark for the reference to the assumption, like which exercise are you talking about, okay? So let's have a look at an example here. Paper 2, task 2, A, B, C. A, you need to provide 6 purposes, 6 aims of the following exercises: 1A, 2A, 3C, and TIP. Exercise 5A as well. So you can provide 2, 1, 1, 2. So 6 purposes, 2, 1, 1, 2, okay? Or 1, 2, 1, 2. The most important thing is to provide 6 purposes for these exercises. Then you need to move on to part B, which is 6 comments on these 3 exercises. So 2 comments, 2 comments, 2 comments for each exercise. If you write a comment about a different exercise which is not specified here, you will lose marks. You need to provide comments on the specified exercises. Then you move on to part C. You need to provide 6 assumptions. You need to explain them, and then you need to refer to the exercise, whether it's exercise 7, 5A, or 3C and TIP. All right, that's the question. And they provide you with the material as well. That's the material. And this one as well, 2 pages, you see? That's a course book like Headway and American File and Navigate. So they provide you with material from a course book like this, 2 pages, almost 2 pages. And then they ask you to do this. So this task reflects your understanding of teaching, planning, and resources, all right? You must be very good at writing lesson plans and like understanding the function of each activity or exercise, the rationale behind them, and the assumptions for such an activity, okay? So that's the question, sample question. And here is my sample answer. Paper 2, task 2A. You must be organized, okay? Paper 2, task 2A. 6 purposes. Exercise 1A, aims, okay? 2, start with 2. Exercise 2A, 2, 2. 3C and TIP, 1 aim. 5A, 1 aim. All in all, 6 purposes. Like, for example, if you have a warm-up activity or a lead-in activity, what's the aim? Can anyone tell me? If you have a warm-up activity, yeah, schemata. You did your CELTA, Mr. Hamdi. Yeah, engaging students. Okay, so if you have a warm-up exercise and they ask you to write something about the purpose, then you can write to activate students' schemata about the topic, okay? To activate their prior knowledge about the topic, okay? So each activity has some specific purposes that you should know and sometimes memorize. Then you move on to the combinations. What's the relationship between these exercises and the previous ones? Okay, so you need to connect these exercises to the previous ones. So you write the combinations in the present form, like this: helps, identifies, okay, enables, etc., etc. Okay, don't write 2 plus infinitive here. 2 plus infinitive in the purposes, and the combinations we use the verb plus s. Then we move on to the assumptions. You write the assumption for the activities. You need to write the assumption, write the exercise like this. 1 mark is awarded for the reference to the exercise. So if you don't write this, you lose 1 mark. So you should write the assumption, reference to the exercise, exercise 3C, and then you need to provide explanation. 1 reason is enough. At that time, I didn't know that I should provide only 1 reason. So I provided 2 reasons. You will tell me, oh, it's great. No, it's not great. If you provide 2 reasons, you're wasting your time, and the marker or the assessor will only check the first reason. So if the first reason is correct, it will be correct. If the first reason is wrong, then it will be wrong. They will not look at the second reason. So please don't waste your time writing 2 explanations or 2 reasons for 1 assumption. 1 reason is gonna be fair enough. So 1 mark, 6 assumptions by 3, then we have 18 marks for the assumptions, 12 marks for the purposes, and 12 marks for the combinations. All right, so now we came to paper 2 task 3, and when it comes to paper 2 task 3, you should laugh. Why? Because I call this task the luck task. L-U-C-K, luck. Yeah, paper 2 task 3, 14 marks. It's very important. How to prepare for it? This task summarizes your whole life, your whole experience, your knowledge, your awareness of everything. So what type of question will you have in this type of task? Nobody knows. You should prepare well. You should read. We will help you prepare for this task. We will give you some sources to read and some materials to read. We will give you some practical tasks to do. I remember when I was doing my Delta Module 1 exam, I got a topic about authentic and non-authentic materials. And at that time, I had never read about authentic and non-authentic materials. So I was just trying to make up my mind and think about something that I can write. 40 marks. So you should have good knowledge of resources, approaches, methodologies, learning context, teaching context, language acquisition, language learning, teachers' roles, learner roles, everything. You need to provide 15 points. Each point you will be awarded 2 marks. So 15 points by 2 marks equals 30 points, 30 marks. And then you will be given 10 marks for the depth, whether you write from your mind or you show that you have read something about this. So if they think you just write from your mind, try to improvise, they will not give you any of the 10 marks of the depth, okay? So 15 points for 30 marks, 1 point, 2 marks, and 10 marks for the depth that you show that you've read about this. Look at the task. You will be given 1, 2, or 3 questions. Okay? You will be given 1, 2, or 3 questions. If you're given 1 question, you should write 15 points to answer this question. If you're given 2 questions, you should write 8 and 7. Okay? Or 9 and 6. If you're given 3 questions, you should write 5, 5, and 5. Or 6, 4, and 5. Okay? So all in all, you must write 15 points. Thank you, Mr. Hamdi. Thank you, Mr. Hamdi. We will be doing our best to help you pass the test from the first try. You just need to believe in us and do your best. Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed. Later in the course, we will clarify things about the depth because it has some criteria. So look at this task, paper 2, task 3. How many questions are here? 1, 2, or 3? We have 2 extracts, but we have 3 questions. So here we have, you can get an extract from a lesson plan, from a course book, from material, from a test, from anything. You expect anything here. And then you will be asked 1, 2, or 3 questions. In this case, you're asked 3 questions. Look at them, please. Reading aloud in the classroom. I mean, what are the advantages? And what are the disadvantages of reading aloud in the classroom? And C, what are the purposes the teacher might, why the teacher might read aloud to the whole class? So you need to discuss 3 points about reading aloud. It's about classroom management, actually. So what are the advantages? 5 advantages. What are the disadvantages? 5 disadvantages. And reasons or purposes why teachers might need to read aloud in the classroom. You need to think about this. If you've never read about reading aloud, then you have to think about it, use your experience, and write something. Look at my sample answer, please. A, paper 2, task 3A. Be organized. One question in one paper. Okay? Paper 2, task 3A. Advantages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Paper 2, task 3B. Disadvantages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Paper 2, task 3C. Purposes why teachers should read aloud in the classroom. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many? 5, 5, and 4. 14 points. You should provide, as I told you, you should provide 15 points. Each point will be awarded 2 marks. Each correct point. Okay? Keeping discipline and classroom management, maybe. I was not sure about this. So you just need to write 15 points. How to prepare for this LAC task? Here are some sources: classroom management and resources, some areas, lesson shapes and how to teach the receptive, productive, and the language functions and the language systems, different learner and teacher roles, ELT methodology and approaches, and we will provide you with all the materials needed to prepare not only for this task but for the whole test. How to pass? We offer you in this happy occasion announce our Delta Module 1 preparation course. Starts September 6th and ends November 29. The fee is, as you see, discounted. And if you would like to join us, you can send me a message on WhatsApp and I will add you manually to the WhatsApp group. All right? So you can take my WhatsApp number, you can capture your screen, you can save it right now to your contacts, send me a message, tell me you're interested in Delta Module 1 preparation course, and I will add you to the group. Then we can talk more or answer your questions if you have more questions to answer. All right. Now I would like to give the stage to Ilham. So I'm going to open the microphone for her and she's going to introduce herself. This is about me, myself, Saeed Rashad, and she's going to introduce herself in a minute. Just let me unmute her. Yeah. Okay. Did you get a notification to be a co-host? Yeah, now you can talk.
Yep.
Right.
All right. Hello, Saeed, and hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be with you today, and it gives me great honor to introduce myself to you. My name is Ilham, and I'm a teacher trainer at the American University in Cairo. I started my career from rags to riches, as they say. I started my career as a teacher in the primary stage, and then followed it by prep, secondary, university, and so on, till I become a trainer. I graduated from Faculty of Education in Shamsi University. And as I believe that learning is a lifelong process, I pursued my studies having a CELTA from the American University in Cairo, after which I was nominated to be a teacher there. And then it was 2010. And then I've got my CELTA and Delta. Saeed was my colleague. And it gives me honor to have a colleague like Saeed.
Thank you so much.
And at the same time, when I started training, I consider myself a freelance trainer as I work for different places. I was a former trainer for Notting Hill College School of Teacher Training, provided TEFL, TESOL, called TEFL, methodology and TRT. At the same time, at the American University, I just provide fundamentals of English language teaching, FEL course, and then ELT diploma. This is a diploma for English language teaching. and Math and Science Teacher Training Certificate. I just give trainers for Math and Science teachers because I know they are pillars in the language schools as well as English teachers. I'll be so happy to see you all in the course. And if you have decided to do the Delta, of course, it will be a turning point in your career, as you will gain a lot of information. You will be on solid ground while you're teaching in your teaching contexts. And at the same time, you will enjoy it. I know Delta's crazy, but it is enjoyable. You will find it interesting. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you all in the course, inshallah. Thank you, Saeed.
Thank you so much, Ilham, for your introduction. Yeah, it's Delta is hard but nice. All right, so I'd like to move on from this slide. You know me, and if you don't know me, I think you've read my short bio here, and you can find me on Facebook on this name, Saeed Rashad, and you can find Ilham on this name. So benefits of the course with us, if you decided to join the course with us, we will provide you with all the materials you need to prepare for Delta Module 1. We will also offer the course online via Zoom, and we will be teaching you twice a week. Ilham will be giving the content input sessions, and I'll be giving the application input session. All right, so you can do it from anywhere. You don't have to tend to a physical place. Also, we will help you be familiar with all the exam tasks, paper 1, 5 tasks, and paper 2, 3 tasks, okay? You should be familiar with them. And also, we will help you be familiar with the exam format, what to do in each question in order to get marks, and at the same time, how to manage your time effectively, because if you don't manage your time effectively, probably you will not be able to finish the paper in 90 minutes. And you will be so unhappy because the test is offered twice a year, only twice a year, in June and December. So you will have to wait 6 months till you get the other test. We will also help you with a very, very professional CDF, course design form and action plan, practice tasks, weekly practice tasks, okay? And we will be following you with all the tasks given so that you can pass the test from the first try. We promise. We will be conducting, as I told you just now, 2 input sessions, one on Tuesday and one on Thursday. Tuesday with Ilham, Thursday with me, Saeed. Okay, and we will, she will be giving you the theoretical part, or a lot of activities, a lot of exercises, a lot of tasks to do with her as well, but you will be getting the content in extensive theoretical way. With me, we will be focusing on the task itself and how to do it in a practical, in a more practical way. There will be also a theoretical part with me, but the main focus will be practical. We will give every one of you personalized feedback, of course, and you will be given 2 mock tests. One, we will check it for you, and the other one you will check it for yourself so that you can raise your awareness towards the test. We will also help you to apply for the test in one of the accredited centers like British Council, so we can help you book the test. And mostly important is supporting you even after the course. Let's say if you don't book the test, or if you sit for the test and you fail, we will not give up. We will continue providing support to all of our candidates even after the course without any extra payment. So you pay only once and we continue with you till you pass, okay? we have some references, of course, for this nice session, because it's amana, you know. This is not from our minds. This is from Cambridge Assessment English, and from the handbook for tutors and candidates, and from IH London, IH Mexico, IH Poland, ITI Delta. All right. Thank you so much for listening. And if you have any question now before we end this nice webinar, please feel free to ask me. And I am so delighted to announce the coming session on Friday, same time as today. We will be having the welcoming session. You will see me again, and you will see Ilham and the other tutor. Okay, we're three. You will see all of us. We will talk more about the course and the course design form and the practice task outline. So you can join us. I'm not sure if this session, welcoming session, will be a free session like this, or it will be for the people who will join the course with us. I'm not sure about this. I need to ask Ilham. But if it's free for everyone, of course, you can join it. You can get to know more about our course and what we are going to do. Okay, she's asking about the qualifications for the Delta, how to join the Delta Module 1. Ilham is answering your question. You just need to be an English teacher, okay? A good English teacher, a good student, because you need to study for 4 hours every day. Let's say 2 to 3 hours if you are very good and you study really well. Okay, you can memorize things easily. Then you need to study 2 to 3 hours every day, or some people need to study 4 hours every day for 4 months. Okay. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, feel free to find me on Facebook on this name, Saeed Rashad, and I'll be happy to answer all your questions. Thank you.